Okay, going home. Earlier in the week, during lunchtime, I was having a conversation with some coworkers about some of the sayings that we grew up hearing when we were growing up in Mexican homes. Just like in many cultures, sayings are very common in Mexico. And we were trying to remember some of the ones that we would hear frequently. And of course, each saying is supposed to teach some sort of lesson. One of the ones that several of us remembered was, a mal tiempo, buena cara, or at bad times, a good face. The idea of staying positive all the time, no matter how hard things are. Another one that several of us have heard also, and there's also an English translation to it, is a caballo regalado no se le ven los dientes. In other words, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. In other words, be grateful if somebody gives you something and not criticize. Some of the more morbid ones that we remember were ahogado el niño, tapando el pozo. In other words, you cover the hole after the child drowns. In other words, it's best to prevent things before they happen, or plan ahead. One of the ones that I frequently remember growing up was, my grandmother would always tell me, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you're with and I tell you who you are. In other words, that we are shaped by the people that we hang around with. And a lot of these sayings, I didn't really pay attention to growing up, but now as an adult, I very frequently think about them because they each taught me a lesson. A saying that I frequently remember my grandmother saying to me was, el flojo trabaja doble, the lazy man works twice. And she would tell me that, for example, when I was trying to carry too many things at once, instead of making 2 or 3 trips, and I would end up spilling things and dropping things and breaking things. And of course, it always ended up being more work. But I think about that saying frequently even now as an adult, when I try to cut edges or take shortcuts in doing things to try to make it easier. And many times it doesn't end well. And I end up having to do more work. So all of these sayings were meant to teach us a lesson. As a child, I did not always appreciate these sayings. But now as an adult, having had more life experience, they actually make sense. And I see the value of the lesson that each of those sayings said. Somebody recently commented that in my videos, I don't have a call to action. Apparently, I'm supposed to ask you to do something at the end of every video. So, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. Click on the little icon right there on the right-hand side, lower right-hand side. And if you have a saying that you might remember when you were growing up, please write them in the comments below, okay? And yeah, of course, if you like the video, make sure you click like. My goodness.